vlog, good night, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a 24-hour reading challenge and we're about to start in probably 10 minutes. I just wanted to come on and say hi, introduce the vlog, and then kind of give you some insight into what I'm reading and what the TBR for today's video is. So let's do that. The book I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm almost done. I'm this much through, maybe 3/4 of the way through, is The Night the River Wept by Fredrik. I picked this up randomly at a bookstore almost a month ago, and something about it really fascinated me, and we could talk about what it is about a little bit later. But yeah, I have been flying through this, and yeah, that's all I'll say. The next book is actually not here. It's Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams, and that's my treadmill book. Now, if I go on the treadmill tomorrow, I will give you updates on how I'm feeling about that. I have probably only gotten through 100 pages of it so far, so I don't have a lot to say, but yeah, that's the next one that I'm in the middle of. Then I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, is it? Yeah, by Rebecca Ross, that I have not started. If you saw the haul that I filmed with this book in it, I had started this. I was probably like halfway through, and I was reading this on Kindle, and I just never finished it. I kind of unintentionally soft DNF'd it and never got back to it. And I really am craving this kind of wheel again. So I would love to pick this up and finish this. I'm just feeling for fantasy right now, as you'll see from the other books that I have. But yeah, this is an option. The next one is A Man Called Uwe by Fredrik Backman. This is one of the only books by him that I haven't finished. This is also an unintentional soft DNF. I know I was reading this on Kindle, and I know I got quite a bit into it, but I never finished it. I'm trying to think in the back of my mind if I finished it, but I know I didn't because I can't remember the ending. So yeah, I would love to read this one, and I think this one is reasonably short, and I'm already very familiar with the beginning of the story, so I don't think it'll be too hard. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too hard to get back into. Yeah, this one is 330 something pages, and the next two are like fantasy / sci-fi reads, both of which I have already started. So you will see a theme here. I did not realize that was a theme, but I guess I'm finishing books that I have unintentionally soft DNF'd. Okay, that's actually really good to know. I did not realize that I was doing that. But the first book is Starsight by Sanderson. I read Skyward. Is that the name of it? Yeah, I think it's Skyward. I read Skyward, I want to say in 2022. Very, very early in 2022, and it was one of my favorite books of whichever year I read it in. I really, really loved it, and I don't know why, because I know that I have a sticker in here, not a sticker, bookmark in here, and I got to page 5, so quite a lot of progress obviously in this one. But I really enjoyed the first book, and I would love to see it through. For some reason, I'm just in the mood for some action and adventure and drama and otherworldly stuff right now, which is why I'm kind of gravitating towards this. And yeah, so that's an option. And then the last one is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. Let me see. I'm thinking that I started Throne of Glass in 2022. I think I started the series then, and I was doing pretty well. I think I read 3. No, I read 2. No, 3. I read the first 3 books. So, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight and The Assassin's Blade. I read all of those, I believe, within the first year. And then in 2023, I started Heir of Fire, and I think it took me that entire year to read it. And then last year, or like maybe right after I finished Heir of Fire, I picked Queen of Shadows up. But I do remember being very heavily in school. I was very overwhelmed with school at the time when I picked this up, which obviously was not a very good idea. And then I just never got back to it. And then I had kind of resigned myself from the series in my head for the past year. I haven't really thought about it, and I did kind of tell myself that I may just never get back to it, and that was fine with me. Those things don't bother me. But I'm just really craving fantasy right now, and this is the only one. Yeah, the only one on my TBR that is really piquing my interest. So this is an option. I did get some way into this one. Yeah, I got 102 pages into this one. So I would be picking up where I left off. I would go back probably like 2 to 3 chapters because I have a vague memory of what was going on, but not a lot. So that is the TBR that we have for tonight, and well, I guess for today, the rest of the day. And I'm going to start the timer now and start reading. Most likely we'll be finishing up with The Night the River Wept soon, and hopefully I'm successful in the challenge. Not to jinx myself. Oh no, it's 9:02 already. I yapped for too long, I think. The ball just dropped. I'm pretty sure. Like, this has been, like, the pacing of this book has been so good because something about the writing is so fast-paced, and then just following the main character in this. So essentially the story is about Arlene, and she's a housewife, and her husband is like this super successful commercial real estate salesman or something, and she just kind of lives a life of luxury. She stays at home. There are trigger warnings for this book, a lot actually. It talks about suicide, it talks about murder, it talks about suffocation, it talks about infertility, and I think that's the brunt of it. But she basically had a failed pregnancy, and she feels like, you know, being a mom is her purpose. And so right now, while she's kind of trying again with her husband, she wants to feel like she has a purpose. So she starts working as like an evidence clerk in the police station, and then she starts going through these cold cases, these unsolved murders. And there's this one specific case with these 3 young boys who are kind of from the rough area of town. And if I don't know if anybody has watched Shameless, my fiance watched it last year. I didn't watch it, but I'm very familiar with it. It's kind of like that character. So they have an older sister, and she takes care of the 3 younger brothers because the dad is like really off his rocker, and he is extremely addicted to drugs, and he's just completely unreliable. So she basically takes care of her younger siblings, and then one day the siblings are murdered. Or can I say that? I don't know. they were unalived basically. And so it really is just this small town and the secrets that they've kept for 20 years, and this one bored housewife who's trying to figure it out. Following her perspective is so completely fascinating. Probably one of my favorite parts of the book, even though the mystery is really good. I feel like she's just very unhinged and going, like, being in her consciousness is so funny, so entertaining, and I don't know, it's self-aware and not self-aware and just kind of ridiculous all at the same time. But the pacing of the mystery is so good. One of the best paced mysteries that I've read, I feel like, because we very slowly started to come into an understanding of what really happened, slash, yeah, what happened. We still don't know exactly why, and I think that's what we're about to find out. But yeah, we just kind of got the backstory, and we are kind of putting this together alongside Arlene, because she's working with two other women who were like around at the time that this happened and were kind of involved with the people, and so they each kind of know something, and they're each kind of keeping secrets for people and stuff like that. So it's just really fascinating, and I think we're about to find out the why, because we know the who, I think, well, one of the who's, but we don't know the rest. We don't have the full picture. So oh boy. Okay, we are about 3 hours in now, and I am feeling a little bit tired, if I'm being honest. I did not expect to feel so tired so quickly. It's only 12 o'clock, but I came prepared. I have Celsius, so I guess we're gonna drink some of that and hope I get some energy. I will not be taking the lights off at any point before the sun comes up, because that is a recipe for disaster. And I will not be lying down in bed. So I could sit in bed or I could sit on my couch, but I can't lie down, because I think that's when the sleep will take me. So yeah, I finished The Night the River Wept. I really enjoyed it. I don't have a lot more to say right now that I didn't just say in the previous clip. And in terms of rating, I always need to take a second to decide how much I will rate it. So we could talk about that later. But as of right now, I think I will pick up Starsight by Brandon Sanderson and see how we go. It is, I think this is young adult sci-fi, and from what I remember, it was really fast-paced, really fun and entertaining, and there was like really good characters, and just the world was interesting. So I think this one is the perfect one to kind of get me through the scary hours of the morning. So that's where we're gonna start now. Part 1. I'm on part 2 now of Starsight. Is it? Yeah, Starsight. Our clock here is saying that we have 18 minutes and 31. No. Oh my gosh, can I not read time? We have 18 hours and 31 minutes left. Honestly, I have been having a really hard time with this book. I think sometimes getting into sci-fi is really hard because they use so many terminologies and so many like words that I'm not familiar with. So, and then also it's just a whole different world. So it does feel like, even though this is the second book in a series, it feels like there is a lot of world building, and so I'm kind of I want to really pay attention to what is being set up at the beginning of a book like this. So yeah, it took me maybe 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours to get through part 1, and that's my fiance on FaceTime. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy it, but I don't know, I had a hard time getting into it, especially because I'm tired. I don't know, I was struggling a little bit. So let's see if part 2 is better, and now that things have been set up and I think we're about to get into like the first set of action, it'll move a little bit faster going forward. I'm crashing. Let's check the time. I've made maybe 25 pages of progress since we last checked in, and that was, I think, over an hour ago. So that's not really good progress. I'm on page 106, which is chapter 12 of Starsight. I'm finally starting to enjoy it and kind of get into the story, but I'm just not awake. Like, my brain is not there. So I'm putting this down for this moment, and I think what I need is like stronger stimulation. So what I'm going to do is play a game on my iPad and listen to an audiobook, because I feel like if I play a game, it will keep me up. It really has nothing to do with the audiobook. The audiobook is just so that I continue reading. But I think playing a game would like stimulate my brain. So that's what I'm going to do now. And hopefully it could keep me up until the sun comes out in like 2-ish hours, a little more than 2 hours. The audiobook that I will listen to is Mad About You by McFarlane. I started that last week when I went to my nail appointment, and I was actually really enjoying it, but I only listened to it that one day. So I think I still have about 5 to 6 hours left on the audiobook. So I'll see if I can make a little bit of a dent in that, and then once the sun comes out, I'll pick up Starsight again. Good morning, vlog. It pains me to say good morning. I did in fact fall fastly asleep. I just finished on a treadmill. I walked for like an hour, but I'm in so much pain right now because of my period, so I don't think I could do it anymore. But I'm now officially hooked on this book. But because it's my treadmill book, I can't read it if I'm not walking on the treadmill, which is so annoying. But I'm on page 138 and I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like the banter and the chemistry and just the friendship of proximity and of knowing somebody for such a long time is so fascinating to kind of unlock. Like, they've been enemies since college, and not enemies, rivals, and like they get off on making each other's lives difficult, but in order to make someone's life difficult, you have to know them. And it's like that saying that only somebody who loves you can truly hate you, because you would have to know the person and share your vulnerabilities with them, or they would have to recognize your vulnerabilities for them to use it against you. So yeah, I'm really enjoying reading from both of their perspectives and seeing how much they know each other after all this time, and kind of starting to become friends. So yeah, I'm loving it. Okay vlog, hello, good afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock now, and I have been listening to the audiobook of Mad About You for the past couple hours. I'm almost done. I think I only have an hour left on it. I'm currently, which I completely forgot I had to do today, I'm at my wedding venue actually, which is so exciting. I love it here so much. And yeah, I just have a second viewing to do with my decorator, because we have a little more people on our guest list than we initially planned for, so we kind of need to figure out how to accommodate for the extra people. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just waiting for her to come up, and then tonight we're gonna keep reading. I think we probably have 8 more hours. No, 7. I think we're supposed to finish at 11 o'clock. So yeah, I went to the mall, and then, well, actually I went to pick my brother up from school, then I went to the mall, and now I'm here at the venue. So I've just had a lot of listening time, but not a lot of reading time because I've just been driving. So when we get home, we will continue with Starsight and hopefully finish that today. But yeah, that's what we're up to right now. Good morning vlog. So it's the next day, and I have decided to keep this party going and finish the 24 hours. So I stopped the timer yesterday when I finished the audiobook of Mad About You, which it was okay. I was not in any way impressed or obsessed or anything along that vein. I was entertained, and that was kind of the extent of my enjoyment of that story. But yeah, I think I'll give it maybe 3 stars if I have to give it a rating. But I did decide to put down Starsight for now because I just don't think, especially because I was just so tired last night and throughout this whole challenge, I just don't think I'm giving it the time of day that it deserves, because it does take a little more brain power to really keep up with the story, remember what happened in the first story, kind of immerse myself in this world with all of the different aliens and species and like planets and all of that. Like, it's not hard to understand, but it's not super easy to. I do have to conjure something up in here to really enjoy that story, which I just didn't have the brain power for. So I started A Man Called Uwe yesterday, and I read a little bit on my Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited, thankfully. So I read a little bit of that before I fell asleep last night, and I've been reading a little bit this morning, and I'm supposed to be on page 90, and that's about 25% through, and I'm loving it. I just love Fredrik Backman, and I do remember when I was first reading this book that I really liked it. I was also just in school and kind of got distracted, forgot I was reading it, and then never came back to it. So I'm really enjoying it. I don't have to think too hard. Fredrik Backman's writing is so easy to get into and so easy to fall in love. But it makes it so easy to fall in love with his characters and their story and their struggles. And yeah, I hope it doesn't make me cry, because I knew coming into it what this book was about, so I didn't feel gutted the way that I did the first time I started it. But I do not know how this ends, so I am a little bit nervous, obviously. But we're gonna keep reading this. I am going to go make myself some breakfast, I think, and then I will not be going back on the treadmill before I finish this reading vlog today, because we have, I think, 30 minutes on the original timer left, and then I will add the 6 hours that I wasted yesterday sleeping and with my planner, with my decorator for my wedding, because we ended up taking 2 hours of time when I was not listening to audiobook or anything. So I decided to add that on to today. So yeah, when we finish that timer, I will add 6 hours on to this, and hopefully we could finish A Man Called Uwe in that period. I think we should be able to. That was enough rambling. I'm going to go make some breakfast and hopefully make another dent in A Man Called Uwe.
And we went inside. We went through passageways, stairway.
Okay, hello vlog. So we are about, I would say, 2 hours out from the timer, Okay, I'm driving. I don't want to be dangerously driving. But yeah, we're about 2 hours out from the timer being up. This is like the additional timer. And I'm not done with A Man Called Over yet. I want to say 2/3 done. And I'm just loving it. Like, I don't know, there's just something so special about Fredrik Backman and the way that he tells stories. I'm literally laughing out loud at least once every 3 pages. And then also, I'm just really loving the story of like the past timeline where I can't really say I would say a past timeline. It isn't necessarily told in like past and present, but there are some like little sprinklings of the past of Ove's life story and his love story with his wife. And if there's one thing that I love in books, it's literally like old people's love story. I just love it. Every single time I interact with it in a story, even if it's a movie, I am like immediately obsessed. And I don't know how authors make it seem so different than a contemporary love story, but it always does, and it just hits different. So I've just been loving it. I've been annotating it like crazy, and I'm just fiending for it. I do want to finish it, but I really want to go to the bookstore because my fiance, who never reads, he reads like manga once in a blue moon, but he is not a reader. We were talking yesterday and he was telling me about this book about dragons that he read when he was younger, and apparently it is the same series that I've kind of had my eye on with like Eldest and stuff, because I've seen it in the bookstore, but I've never been, and I have been intrigued, but I've never been able to find the first book in the series. And he said that if I find it, he would read it, and I also want to read it. So I am going to look for that book in a different bookstore, not the one that I always go to. So I'm going to see what they have, do a little browsing, and hopefully they have the first book in the series, and then I'll go back home and finish the timer. And even if I finish A Man Called Uwe like an hour after the timer, I will still give like my review and my thoughts and feelings about it at the end of the video. So yeah, I'm like 97% sure that it's going to be a quiet 5-star read, because it's so good, it's so precious, it's so wholesome. And I will read like the back of the book, the little, is not the synopsis, but just like the little paragraph that's meant to convince you to read the story. I will read it for you when I get home, because it literally perfectly captures how I feel about the story. So yeah, that's my thoughts right now. Okay, I just got home. I was actually successful, thankfully, and I got the first 2 books in the series because obviously I got carried away. The usual. Yeah, I got Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I don't know, but I got Aragon, and I got Eldest, which are the first 2 books in the Inheritance Cycle series. So I'm really excited about them. I see the dragons big and bold on the cover, so this would be my first, this would be my first book with dragons that I'm reading. So I'm really excited. I also have When the Moon Hatched on my TBR, so it's not the first book with dragons that I own, but it's the first one. I do think I'm going to read this like next week. So I also got What Happened to the Bennets by Lisa Scottolini. So we have about 45 minutes left on the timer now, so I'm just gonna read until I'm on page, I think, Yeah, page 227 now. Okay, so to wrap it up, the first book that I did not finish. So I didn't finish 2 books. I'm in the middle of 2 books right now, but I did talk about them during this vlog. So I will still give you my thoughts. I made zero progress in Starsight since we finished, or since we kind of put it down. But I do think this is the book that I will continue reading for the rest of February. And yeah, I'm on page 128 and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's fun and fast-paced. It just was not the right book for this video. I think I definitely, sorry, I need to move this camera. Yeah, I definitely think that it was just a little bit too slow and too difficult to like keep up with while my brain was kind of shutting down. So that's Starsight. The next book that I'm in the middle of is Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams. Listen to me. I don't know. I think I'm in a huge romance mood this month, and maybe it's because it's February. Maybe it's, I don't know. But this is the 3rd romance book that I have been absolutely devouring this month, and I don't know, I've never read from Sarah Adams before. I think something about this camera is off. Yeah, I've never read from Sarah Adams before, and so kind of getting into her writing makes me feel like picking up all of her other books. I only have one other book of hers on my physical TBR, but beside the point, this is so cute. I'm literally giggling and blushing and physically unable to come off the treadmill when I'm reading this book, which I'm so sad it's almost done. Well, not almost done, I'm halfway through, which means I probably have 2 more days of it, but it's just so, it's so good. The banter, the chemistry, the relationship, the friendship that they're forming, the little, I don't know, the tension between them. Okay, the next book I'll be very short and sweet about, Mad About You by Mhairie McFarlane. I don't know that it was my cup of tea, to be honest. It was adequately entertaining, but I felt absolutely no connection to the characters or really the story and anything about it. So I don't know, I wasn't really moved by the story or anything that happened to the characters. So I gave that one 3 stars. I know a lot of people really love it, so I wouldn't say that I don't recommend it or anything. And 3 stars is still fine. I was definitely very entertained, but I wasn't obsessed with it. I've definitely read many books that I enjoyed a lot more. So the last one is one of those that I enjoyed a lot more. I gave this one 4 stars, The Night the River Wept by Fredrik. I didn't know that this was a completely unknown book. It only, I think, has 500 ratings on Goodreads, or yeah, 500 ratings on Goodreads. But I really loved following this main character. I think that this is the most, yeah, that is the thing that stands out most to me about this book. I thought that her voice and her like inner dialogue was so entertaining. She's so unhinged and so like very frank. I just loved going about her days with her and kind of seeing her consciousness and how she thinks about certain things. So I just really loved her as a character. I loved the story. I loved the literary fiction aspect of it, as well as the mystery and how that unfolded slowly but surely. The pacing was really good, and yeah, I definitely recommend this one. 4 stars out of 5. And that's all the books that I have to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching. Did I talk about a man called Uwe? I know I got cut off in the video, so I can't tell. Wait. I gave this 5 stars. The writing was so incredible and so heartwarming. Anything that Fredrik Backman writes is just, I don't know. Everything he touches turns to gold. I just loved the characters. I loved the community and the found family and the undertone of finding a purpose when sometimes it feels like you don't have a purpose anymore. I just loved this story so completely, and yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Those are all of the books that we encountered during this 24-hour reading vlog, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.